Hi, and welcome to At Chat State. Today we have two very special guests, Tim Cofield and Dylan Kussman, the creators of the web series The Steps. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Tim?
I'm the cinematographer for The Steps web series.
I am the writer and director of the series.
Excellent. And could you tell us where the concept of the show came from?
Well, I conceived of the show after moving to Chattanooga from Los Angeles in 2008. And the story is fictional, but it's based on a couple of things: my move from a big city to a smaller city, and also on the story of Anthony Pellicano, the PI to the stars in Los Angeles, who went to jail for blackmailing movie stars with illicit information.
So each episode is about 6 minutes long, which is typically the web length. How long does it take to film an episode?
Well, we shot the first season this summer in about 5 to 6 weeks, just on the weekends.
So you did the whole season in one?
Yeah, and not in chronological or narrative order, but in location order.
Okay.
So we were shooting scenes from the last episode and the first episode in the same day, which is pretty standard, I think. But
So we shot like 7, and that was only episodes 4 through 10. The first 3
Yeah.
were shot in the fall of 2008. So
A year
we shot
and
about
a
7
half.
episodes in about a month and a half on the weekends.
It seems doable for people who have other jobs and things like that, and they
Aren't
can.
getting any money.
And everybody on our set did
Yeah.
have other jobs.
Speaking of that, there are a lot of talented people who are working on the show in terms of cast and crew. How did you find the people involved in the show?
Well, I'll speak for the cast, and I'll let Tim speak for the crew. I met most of the cast members doing theater. I worked here at the Chattanooga State Repertory Theater. I worked with the Ensemble Theater of Chattanooga, and I worked with the Destiny Theater Company. And I met the actors doing those plays.
And the crew, all over really. Charles Allison was the boom mic operator, sound engineer, and he was just a friend who owned a recording studio. And so I called him up and asked him. And he's married with kids, so sometimes he wouldn't be able to be there, so I would have to find somebody else. So we had like about 3 people running boom over the whole shoot, which I don't recommend, but we had to get it done. So, and the most trained crew member we had was Sahali Jensen. She was first AC, so she was in charge of the production slate, marking the slate, calling the mark, and pretty much giving me advice. Her job is pretty much to make the cinematographer look good.
Speaking of that,
I get the credit.
especially as the series develops, the quality of it is very high. What kind of equipment makes that possible?
Well, the episode you watched was shot like 14 months ago on a Canon
XL1?
Yeah, XL1, which is just DV quality, and I try to make the most out of. It's really not about the equipment you have; it's about how you use it. And so, Dylan knows I would, as many times as I could, I would want to be as far away. Sometimes shot on a Canon XL1, and then episode 4, which was after the grant, which we'll ask about later, but we were given a camera it's a Sony HDR FX1, which is HD.
Well, speaking of the money, which is nice that you got such a good camera for that, how hard was it to find the money? What was the process like?
Well,
First,
Every year, Create Here, it's an organization downtown, gets a $150,000 endowment to give out to a variety of artists in all different disciplines, and Tim applied, and we were awarded a grant based on the first 3 episodes.
did you have to sort of present the project to them?
Yeah, we presented the first 3 episodes. I mean, in terms of attracting crew and attracting money, I just have to say, Tim and I made the first 3 with nobody, except for our actors. Tim held the camera and held the audio equipment, and we just shot the first 3 and cut them together. once we did those first 3 and were able to show them to people and let them know what we were doing, we attracted people to the project. The action of actually getting the project started is what started to generate the interest and to generate a larger crew and cast for the show.
So if there was a piece of advice that you would give to us interested in being a part of a project like this, what would you say?
Go do it.
Go do
Just
it.
start.
Yeah.
Don't wait for money.
Yeah, come up with an idea, with a character that means something to you, that you are interested in hearing their story told and in telling their story, and get the best equipment you can get your hands on and start shooting. You know, cut it together, because you can shoot it and cut it and put it up on one of those computers so that I can watch it tonight. You know, that's what's amazing about what we're trying, or at least what we're trying to do, is trying to take advantage of the fact that it's so instantaneous right now. The means to distribute your content. I mean, right?
Yeah.
And you would say it starts with a story idea. It starts with the real narrative.
For me, it started with the character.
Yeah, the character. Because
I had a character that I wanted to play. You know, I've been an actor for 25 years, and I mostly get cast in little guest starring and co-starring spots. You know, I've been on a lot of films and television shows. I'm the neighbor or the friend, and I'm like, I want to, you know, do something where it's my story. And so I thought of a character that I would like to be cast as, and the story kind of grew out of him.
Wonderful. Tim, do you have any advice for the technical side of things, what we can do to help prepare ourselves?
It's so complex. There's so many, I mean, I've learned a lot. We shoot it, that's the easy part, shooting it. But when you get to the editing, that's the real nitty gritty. And what we do, Chris asked about what our workflow is. And right now, we're just trying to pump out, we're just trying to edit an episode and get it out. But when we cut together an episode, it usually takes from 3 to 6 hours to just get the transitions right between, and in that process, we look at all the footage, we go through each take. You know, sometimes a scene has, usually has a master of, if the scene is me and Dylan talking, it's a master of us talking, maybe that once or twice, and then one over his shoulder favoring me, then one over my shoulder favoring him, then another one over his shoulder favoring me close up, then another one over my shoulder favoring him close up, and so we'll have sometimes 6, 7 or more, you know, angles. And then, so when we're editing, we go through and look, and Dylan says, I like that performance and that performance, and we piece it together from there for each scene. But then, so when an episode is cut, when we're done with it, what we've been doing is sending it off to what's the order? 3 people really. Is this cool to talk?
Sure.
Yeah. He goes to LA to get scored because Dylan has a friend there he's worked in the business for a long time with, and he's been willing to put music to it. So it goes to LA and gets scored, and it goes to San Francisco to get the Foley sound design, so that the walking up the stairs, he'll like replace that with, you know, Foley of someone else walking up the stairs, and then he'll mix the score. And then the third place it goes is, for us, is Brian Fowler out. He's a professional Steadicam operator, and he has been color correcting the episodes. So if they look good, it's because of him. He vignettes and boosts temperature and he sends it back to us, and it looks good. And then we put all those pieces together. And so there's a lot of you know, people involved. But the thing I've learned the most about is codecs. How to upload your video so it looks good. Your resolution. I never knew how complicated that was. But the good thing is YouTube and Vimeo and all these sites that you upload to have really specific instructions on what's the best audio format and resolution and yada yada. So I just never knew it was this really complex. But that's why it's good to have a lot of people involved.
It sounds really exciting, and that, you know, and it gives me hope that it's not, you know, all big business now. We don't have to go out to Hollywood or New York to try to do something that's really you know, an exciting project that's high quality. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jessie.
Thank you, and tune in next
Thank
time
you.
to @Chat State.